This is the Skeptical Student Show, created as a part of Podcast Lab by India Film Project in association with Anchor by Spotify.
You can always listen to the episode on Fast Forward and follow the podcast to never miss new episodes.
Hello everyone, I am Gavish and I welcome you back to the Skeptical Student Show. Closely associated with the collapse of education system about which we talked in the previous episode is the cancellation of board exams, which is going to be the topic of discussion for today's episode.
Blast from the Past segment.
I was one of those kids who were determined to get a good result no matter what. I also gave my 100% in all the offline or online tests and exams. And for such students, I believe, the constant postponement of exams must have created an environment of uncertainty and anxiety. And obviously, when exams ultimately got cancelled, students like me must have felt bereft of the only chance they had gotten of proving themselves. But I also stand by the fact that knowledge never goes waste, and my hard work also paid off when I topped all the branches of my school and also made the cut for Hindu College, Delhi University.
Problem Pinpoint segment.
First, some of the exams of batch 2020 got cancelled after much delay and the authorities were themselves unsure about what to do. Similarly, the dates were being deferred and hence exams delayed. However, the joint entrance examination got conducted successfully, isn't it? So why such unclarity? In situations where we expect the authorities to be swift, they were unfortunately sluggish. As I talked about the online classes being for the strongly willed in the previous episode, those who weren't able to cope up with them or perhaps couldn't give their 100% also seem to support the cause of cancellation of board exams. So it won't be wrong to say that the cancellation of the boards was a repercussion of the online education. Many allege the protest mentality of students because if you ask a pool of students, I'm sure about 90% or more would vouch for cancellation of exams because who would want to study? And there may be only a handful who would actually want to voluntarily study, isn't it? Moreover, when these protest-minded students were busy trending hashtags on Twitter, the committed ones were actually busy studying. Lastly, for the batch of 2021, the authorities were initially in favor of conducting exams, but then they saw the majority of students who were in favor of cancellation, and these were the same young adults who would be voting in the next elections. Hence, I know it might sound far-fetched, but to keep the number game in their favor, the government sided with cancellation of exams as a part of their vote bank politics, but that can be debated upon. The marking criteria was also declared unfair by students. After the declaration of results, students expressed dissatisfaction over the marking criteria not being followed. They argued that marking was unfairly done by schools, and that is the reason why the result has come out to be this inflated. Because no school, at the end of the day, would want their students to score low. There was a provision of optional exams for students of certain boards who were unhappy with their result, but even that has been labelled as irrelevant. If we were to think about this deeply, why would a student practically go for these optional exams after being disconnected with studies for months? Probably to clear dues high cutoffs. But what is the point of increasing your score even by 2 to 5% when the results have come out to be bloated and everyone around you is with high scores? In such a situation, will it be even considered worth it to risk reducing your current score? The part and parcel of this turmoil is the problem that students are now facing in their admission to universities. But that is perhaps a story for some other day.
Seeking Solutions segment.
I know for the fact that health and well-being come first, but I would be lying to myself if I said that board exams could not have been conducted whilst following precautions. Because the student was supposed to sit at a single place for 3 hours, write his or her paper, and leave without coming in contact of others. The idea of taking exams at school and not the exam centers was a nice one, and there were also contemplations about having an all MCQ based test. But I don't really see how changing the exam pattern at the last moment and reducing the duration of the exam would have helped anyone. Could declaration of a 0 year have acted as a solution? Well, I don't personally think so, because at that time, nobody had anticipated that the pandemic will keep continuing for 1 year and into the next one. Also, that would have been more like running away from the problem rather than facing it, and halting the already halted education sector would have benefited nobody. Moving on to suggestions for the government and advice for students appearing in boards. One of the solutions could have been that government could have focused the vaccination drive initially on students of 12th if not 10th standard at least. This seems to be a viable solution even today when 2022 boards are about to commence. For the students, your trajectory should not be affected by what the administration decides, as your only task is to stay focused and study and give it your best shot whatever may come. Moving on to the future of Term 1 board exams, date sheet has been released and it is supposed to be an OMR based test, but there are also rumors about having an online exam. ICSE had also suggested for a hybrid option with both offline and online mediums. But a shocking update has been received that the exams have been postponed by ICSE via a notice.
Response segment.
The question at hand for response segment was, will Term 1 and 2 exams get cancelled like the 2020-21 boards? If yes, will it be fair? The first response I would want to bring to light is, no, they won't be, and they should not be, as it is of great disadvantage for students who actually study. I agree, and I think it's extremely saddening how nobody really talks about those who were wronged, those who were unjustly denied the chance, a fair chance, to prove themselves, and those whose hard work did not result into anything fruitful. Second response was, these days online school and offline exams are the only thing which will ensure students are studying. I think I agree with how the responder is trying to point out to the new normal of online and offline hybrid system, wherein classes are taken in an online medium and taking exams through the offline medium is still considered just.
Supplementary segment.
For the supplementary segment, I have a Quora thread in recommendations, the link to which will be made available in the episode description. So this thread is basically about a question, which is, was it right for the CBSE to cancel the 2021 12th board exams? And I think there are 9 answers in total which you can go through. These answers will provide you with the different perspectives of different students, and I personally found myself relating to some of the answers, and I hope you will too. If you would want your responses to be discussed during the response segment or simply stay connected, you can follow me on Instagram. I am called GavishRaptor with @GAVISH_RAPTOR. I think the moral of this episode and my last word would be that knowledge never gets wasted, and we live in an unpredictable world. No matter how hard you try to be prepared, but you might never be prepared enough to face this world. Thank you so much everyone who took out time to tune in today, and don't forget to tune in next week for a fresh episode.
You were listening to the Skeptical Student Show by Gavish Raptor, created as a part of Podcast Lab by India Film Project in association with Anchor by Spotify.
know, man.